Hey everyone, Two Angry Frogs here, and today we're diving into artifact weapon appearances in Legion Remix. We'll cover how to collect the classic and upgraded appearances, explain which ones require retail WoW, and share tips on how to unlock them faster and more efficiently. By the end, you'll know exactly how to grab all of the Class Order Hall appearances and a few more from the Legion campaign. But before we begin, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you always know what's coming up next. Now, let's get to collecting. So before we start, one add-on you might want to grab is the Remix Artifact Tracker. So what this does is show all the various appearances for your given class, which ones you've unlocked, which ones you haven't, and the requirement for unlocking a given appearance. It will also show a preview of each of the appearances. There are 6 different tiers of appearance unlocks, and each has 4 color variants. There are some that require the original Legion content, so you'll have to wait to get these until you switch the character over to retail. These include war-torn PvP appearances, which obviously require PvP, challenge appearances, which require completing things in the Mage Tower, which is not available in Remix, and then hidden appearances, which is a bit of a mixed bag. From player feedback and other sources, it looks like some of these might be available depending on what class you play, and some are absolutely not available. Each of these requires a very specific thing that each class has to do, and some of that seems to be broken at this point. So, what we'll cover in this video are the classic appearances and the upgraded appearances. This includes 7 of the appearances. The 8th you cannot get because it requires the achievement This Side Up, which requires archaeology in retail. For the Valorous appearances, it's a very long multi-step process, which we are going to cover in the next video. The first appearances we'll go after are for the Class Order Hall. And 2 things to keep in mind here. The default appearance itself is unlocked as soon as you receive your first artifact weapon, and appearances are unlocked for all of your artifacts for your class, regardless of whether you have collected the artifact or not. So once you complete a given achievement, you have the appearances for all 3 or 4 artifacts. So for the Class Order Hall, first you need to complete or skip the Legion Remix introductory quest to get your first artifact weapon. You'll then be directed to your Class Order Hall by an NPC in Dalaran. In some cases, like with Hunters, the NPC Snowfeather will show up at your location. In other cases, like with the Death Knight, you'll need to find the quest on the map and then go to the quest giver. You'll get a quest to select your first artifact, and this should be the same as what you selected in the introduction quest. Follow the quest line for your specific class, which typically includes a scenario as well, to obtain the artifact weapon, and then you'll be directed to your specific Class Order Hall. In your Class Order Hall, you'll get a quest to select your first assault point from the command table. I would recommend selecting Azuna here, since quests in the Azuna campaign will need to be completed for balance of power for the Valorous artifact weapon appearances. You can knock out a couple of things at the same time here. You'll also work toward the Azuna Pillar of Creation at the same time, which will unlock another artifact appearance. There are a few things to take note for your Class Order Hall campaign. First, you'll be required to run through quite a few dungeons. You can run these on any difficulty, so queuing up for normal is the easiest and the quickest. Also recall that you can select specific dungeons as opposed to queuing up for something random. Second, depending on the dungeon that is needed, it may require that your character be a specific level before it shows up in the LFG list, so you may need to go out and level up some before you can continue the Class Order Hall campaign. Third, there are certain quests that require a specific level to be reached. In the cases where you need to be a specific level, I recommend completing quests associated with the zone campaign you selected for your first assault point. So this way, as you're leveling, you're also working toward unlocking more artifact appearances. Third, you can reach points in the Class Order Hall campaign where you're not sure what the next step is. In these cases, you can look at your quest log under the Order Hall header, and that'll tell you what the next step is that you need to complete. Finally, you may be required to complete world quests to complete some tasks for your class order hall. To open world quests, you need to talk to Khadgar and Dalaran at the Violet Citadel, complete the quest Uniting the Isles, which can be completed in place, and this will open world quests and make them available. Since this is Legion Remix, another tip is to make sure to grab Infinite Research quests from Eternus. Since class order hall quests require dungeons, world quests, and killing enemies among other tasks, you should try and grab Infinite Research quests so that you can complete those at the same time. This way you can double up on quests and gain more XP while completing your class order hall campaign. So the next one we're going to talk about and go after is recovering Light's Heart. This takes about 30 minutes, so this is a pretty quick one to unlock. You'll start by picking up the quest A Falling Star from Khadgar and Dalaran in the Violet Citadel. Talk to the flight master at Crassus Landing. The flight takes you to Suramar, and you'll land on the beach after circling the crash site. Head to coordinates 9261.2, which is due east of the island, to search the crash site. You'll swim down to find the crash site, which looks like a purple swirly area in a crevice on the ocean floor. Khadgar notes that the object is not at the crash site, so you'll head to investigate the cave. The cave entrance itself is at 94.664.2. In the cave, defeat the sea giant Yorg Murkmouth, and you'll loot the mysterious light-bound object. So head back to Khadgar and Dalaran to turn in the quest in the Chamber of the Guardian, and remember to stand on the portal in the center of the room to get to Khadgar on the lower floor. After the cutscene plays, Khadgar gives you the quest Bringer of Light to discover the purpose of the light-bound object, and he'll open a portal to the Exodar. After taking the portal, you'll start the scenario in defense of the Exodar. First, we'll head to Velen, and note that you can run through all the enemies straight to Velen, as they will disintegrate when hitting the barrier, and also note that you can stay mounted all the way to his location. For the second part of the scenario, you'll need to disable portals and rescue citizens. Both are marked on your mini-map, and you'll also see the portals marked on your zone map, so simply follow the markers to complete the quest and head back to Velen. For the final piece, you'll follow Velen to confront High General Rakish. Make sure to stay in Velen's protective barrier as he cleanses the fell taint from the ramp, as regardless of how much health you have, this will kill you. After defeating Rakish in the last step of the scenario, make sure to stay until the dialogue is completed, and then you can use Khadgar's beacon to go back to Dalaran. Finally, we'll talk to Khadgar, and he'll give you the quest Light's Charge to take the Light's Heart to your class order hall. So head back to your class order hall to place the object, and the appearance is unlocked. So the last one we'll grab is the Pillar of Creation appearance. There are 4 pillars of creation available for each of the campaigns tied to the zones. Again, I do recommend selecting Azuna to double up on completing quests related to unlocking Balance of Power appearances later on. So if we're tackling the Azuna campaign to grab the Tidestone of Golganeth, the campaign has 2 main parts. You have a number of outdoor zone quests across Azuna, and then the Eye of Ajara dungeon, which triggers the final reward. You want to complete all outdoor quests in order, since missing one can prevent the dungeon quest from triggering. There are 3 major storylines that need to be completed, and for the first, you'll start with the introductory quest in Azuna. These set up the story and lead you through the Azuna zone. Before you jump in, however, head back to your class order hall and grab the quest The Power Within from Caligos. While you're completing the Azuna campaign, this will allow you to get a few steps done for the Valorous appearances. If you did not pick Azuna as your assault point, you will need to do that to get the first quest, Paradise Lost. Following Paradise Lost, we have the quests listed here that you'll need to complete for this storyline of the campaign. Note that for the Demon Souls quest, make sure to use the Soul Gem after you defeat the demons in the Faranar front area. Trust me, it's not uncommon to go kill a bunch of stuff and then realize that, oh, I'm not actually completing the quest. After defeating Nightglaive the Traitor, head back to Illidari Stand with Stellagosa. You'll grab the quest Journey to the Repos from Khadgar, and we'll move into the next part of the campaign, defending Azure Wing Repos. So during this storyline, you'll handle a mix of outdoor objectives, killing mobs, completing small events, and following the storyline. Nothing crazy, just make sure to finish everything in the quest line. It starts with the death of the eldest, and you can see here all of the quests listed that need to be completed in order to finish this storyline. Note that at the end, you may see a question mark quest turn in for Caligos, and he's not there. You may need to log out and log back in to get him to show up so that you can turn in the power within. Finally, we'll hit the last storyline, Azuna versus Ashara, and this is the final outdoor chapter. You'll tackle the storyline that sets up the Eye of Ajara dungeon so you can get the Tidestone. Again, follow the quest flow, and this starts with Those Who Remember, and then you'll have several quests at the Academy Mage School that you start with Ferondis. Couple things to note here. For the Tidestone Shattered, gather the 5 pieces of the Tidestone around the room. Some are small and can be difficult to see around the rocks and pillars. For Save Yourself, you'll play as Ferondis, rescuing yourself. It is a straightforward scenario, but just make sure to spam your abilities at Ajara when she shows up, or this can glitch out, in which you'll have to leave the scenario and then replay a bit of it. Finally, when you turn in Head of the Snake, this will open the quest to retrieve the Tidestone from the Eye of Ajara dungeon. So for the final piece, we'll head into Eye of Ajara. This is where the quest, the Tidestone of Golganeth, will appear. After completing the dungeon and defeating the Wrath of Ajara final boss, do not leave the dungeon. You'll see the Tidestone in the pool where the Wrath of Ajara was. Loot the Tidestone and return to Dalaran, and then you'll take the Tidestone and place it in the Chamber of the Guardian. And with that, you unlock the Pillar of Creation artifact appearance. And that's it. You now know exactly how to unlock all the Class Order Hall and campaign artifact appearances you can get in Legion Remix, and which ones are reserved for retail WoW. Did you find a faster route through Class Order Hall or campaign quests? Any hidden tricks or combo strategies that helped you double up on appearances? Make sure to share your experiences with the rest of the community, and let us know any questions you have down below in the comments. Make sure to look for the next video where we will detail how to get all of the Valorous appearances, and a special shout out to our members for your continued support. We thank you very much. And everyone, have a great day.